Hello y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jocelyn Jam. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Sit back, get a feel of the channel, and if it interests you, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when I post my videos. If you are an oldie to the channel, welcome back. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and hit that notification bell like I say. Today we are going to be speaking about something that I think is very important, and that is this obsession with marriage in African countries. Now, I'm saying African countries, really, it's a generalization because I cannot speak for all African countries. I can speak for Cameroon because I am from Cameroon, but I have a few African friends with whom I've had conversations, and we're sort of on the same page. Even if you were to go to YouTube, you would probably see, something about Nigerians obsessed with marriage, Africans obsessed with marriage, even the Caribbeans. It's a thing that's prevalent, and I think is crazy. Why did I decide to speak about this today? I will tell you. Once you start getting to a certain age, and that certain age is like 25 and above, people start looking at you askance. Like, what is she doing? When is she getting married? And then they start asking your family. They start asking you, so when are you getting married? So where's your boyfriend? And I just find it ridiculous. Y'all, I don't know what else to say, how else to say it. I find it ridiculous. End of video. Okay, no, not end of video. But today I really wanted to speak about this because it is a big issue, and we can sit back and act like it's nothing, like, it's tradition, this is the way things have been, and this is the way things should continue to be. But that is not the way to growth. Women 60 years ago are different from women today. We have more access to education. We have more access to jobs. I'm not saying that things are great, but things are better than they used to be. And so we have more access to other things. And so we don't want to have to aspire to marriage. As the writer, what's her name? She's Nigerian. I'll put it somewhere in the video because I will remember, but I don't remember right now. But, family, society plays a big role in this madness, this rush to marriage. Family, when you're a child and you're growing up, listen, everything you're doing, everything as a girl that you're doing is geared toward you ending up in your husband's home. Cook. Is this how you're gonna cook for your husband? Your husband's gonna kick you out. You're washing your clothes. You can't even wash clothes clean. How are you gonna wash your husband's clothes? Break a plate. This is how you're gonna be breaking plates in your husband's house. You better marry a millionaire. There's all these kinds of things, and that's family. They from the time you grew up as a girl, a young girl. Once you start telling a child things like that, that's all they think about. They only think, oh my gosh, well then my husband's home is the ultimate end. And really, y'all, that's like BS. Like, no man's home should be your ultimate end. And then when it comes to society, society's saying, oh, your clock's ticking, you're not going to be able to have kids, or you're going to get too older and no man's going to want to look at you. And all this ridiculous ideals, And so we grow up expecting that the end goal is marriage. Like, that is your highest achievement. If you marry, you have achieved it. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with getting married. Not at all. Not at all. It's nice to have companionship. It's nice to have someone to talk to, or who potentially should be on your side most of the time. But at the same time, we should not be acting like that is the only achievement that gives women a place in society. Marriage in a lot of African countries, in my country, is a status symbol. Like, it's like, this is your status, like, this is who you are, right? It's like social capital that says, yep, this is an important person, she is Mrs. XYZ, and so this makes her important. And of course, that's how society views you. And so for that reason, a lot of girls and women, they want to rush into marriage to have that status in society, because really, who does not want to have the ultimate respect in society? You know, single women are not thoroughly granted that sort of respect that a woman who has a husband is granted. And I think that it is so ridiculous, y'all. Like, why should you respect me more because I have Mrs. tagged at the front of my name? I have my husband's last name tagged at the back of my name. Like, really, y'all? Like, why? Like, what gives the man so much clout, for lack of a better word, that just having him by my side automatically makes me this wonderful, amazing human being? I remember when I was much younger, y'all, I had a good report card from school, and a great aunt, who's my mother's aunt, she took a look at my report card and she went, "Oh, this is so great. You're so intelligent. You're gonna bring a very rich man." And this rich man wasn't just any rich man, it was a rich white man. I remember that so distinctly. Like, I never ever forgot that. That was the aspiration. Like, I get a rich white man because you're so smart and you're the one who's going to uplift our family. And that is such a ridiculous thing to be telling a 10-year-old, you know, like, what are you teaching her? That the husband, that the man is the ultimate, like she's nothing without a man? What kind of world are we trying to build? You know, like a world where women are second-class citizens and men are God, and we bow down and kiss their feet and lick their fingers and everywhere? Like, no, honey. No. That's not happening. Not here. I mean, at least not with me. Again, I should make it clear that I'm not saying marriage is a bad thing. No. If I were to meet someone that I cared about, that I felt like we connected, I would not be opposed to getting married. My biggest problem is that we're pushing girls and women into marriage because we want them to feel like, you know, that is the ultimate thing. We want them to feel like their legitimacy comes from being married. But that should not be the case, because each individual is an individual in themselves, a whole person who should be able to make themselves better. Here's the thing. When girls are told that marriage is the ultimate achievement, marriage is what they should be aspiring to, it's where they should end up, we're pushing young women into situations that we do not teach them how to handle. Right? Because we're saying you should be prepared to go cook for him, clean for him, wash his clothes, take care of the children. That's your job as a woman in a marriage. But no one's teaching these women that marriage is work. Because once you start training them from a young age, you have to clean, you have to cook, you have to do all this. You don't train them to do that. Okay, just know that when you go into a marital home, it's work. You and your husband have to compromise. And here's the thing, I'm even saying that no one's teaching girls. No one's teaching boys either. That in a marriage, they're not the king. Well, at least if they're the king, the wife is the queen, and so they have to figure out how to work together. Now, I've never been married, so I can say all this and people are going to say, oh my gosh, you've never married, you don't know jack. But what I do know for sure is that I'm not going to marriage to wait hand and foot on someone's son. Like, that's not what I'm there for. Like, am I supposed to be your maid? Am I supposed to be your slave? No, that's not how it works. When you go into a marriage with someone, a marriage is between two people, right? Like, it's husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband, whatever. You have to figure out a way to make that marriage work. Here's the problem. As women, whether we're pushed by society, by our families, by our friends, excuse me, into marriage, it can sometimes really come with bad decisions. And really, like, listen, these aunties who are always here asking you when you're getting married, all they want is to come eat some dole and eru and jollof rice at the wedding. They're not going to be there when you're married. Like, they're not going to come be in your marital home with you. You're the one who's going to have to live that marital life. And so please, for the love of God, auntie, stop asking questions about marriages. We don't care about your questions. And I'm not trying to sound rude here, but really, I really think that it's something that's necessary to have other women stop trying to force marriage down young girls' throats. And here's the funny thing. When they talk about their marriages, they talk about how tiring it is, how their husband is this, how he's that, how he's cheating, how he's doing this and how he's doing that. But at the end of the day, they still come and try to get you to get married. And I'm like, which one is it now? Is it that your husband's doing all of these things and you want me to come taste it too? Or is it just that what? Like what? Like, is it out of the goodness of your heart? Why? Why are you concerned with other young girls' marriages? Like, the world has changed. The world is changing, and it will continue to change. And women will continue to find their place however they wish for it to be in this world. And no one should try to come, push them out and say, you should not be doing this. And listen, see, when women go out to get an education, right? The families are happy. Like, oh my gosh, my daughter is a doctor. My daughter is a teacher. She's a lawyer. She's an engineer. They're all proud of that, right? But once you get a husband, everybody's like, well done, finally. Hey, finally. Finally what? Like, what were you? Some remnant trash, like waiting, just like praying in the corner to like get a husband so that you're finally fulfilled? Like, we're taught like, oh, you gotta find your better half. Like, no, there's no better half here. I'm not looking for my better half. I'm looking for someone who's whole, because I am a whole person, and we gotta bring our two whole selves and figure out how we're gonna live together. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like half person come, you two come make one person. It doesn't work that way. Because in marriage, things are going to happen. Life, you're going to grow. Your partner's going to grow. You're going to outgrow certain things. Maybe your partner's not going to outgrow those things. Nobody's teaching you how to handle that when you get into marriage. All anyone's doing is pushing us, go get married. Your clock's ticking. What clock's ticking? Like, who decides when a woman should get married or when a woman should not get married? Like, once you start, like I said before, like you get to 25 and everyone's like, okay, where's your boyfriend? Sure, you're doing great things, but like, when are you getting married? For what? Like, I believe like marriage is not for everybody. Truthfully, like, not every woman has to get married. And that's the fact of the matter. Not every woman has to have a child. Because truthfully, not all women should be mothers. There's some terrible mothers that you just look and go, you should not have had that child. We're not going to talk about how here we're all born with certain maternal instincts. Like, I don't believe that's true. I know that there are women who do not have maternal instincts where you look at them and you go, what kind of mother are you? You know what? And so not all women are meant for certain things. Just like not all men are meant to get married. And not all men are meant to be fathers. But no one's saying these things. All they're doing is saying, you must marry, go ahead and marry. You're a disgrace to the family. You're disgracing, to the neighborhood. When are you going to get married? Like, marriage is not the ultimate. It should have never been from the beginning. And I know sometimes it's like, no, well, this is tradition. This is the way it is, in African countries. But traditions were made by human beings. And we as human beings can overthrow those traditions and make new ones. Like, traditions are basically, ideals and rules and things that you pass on from generation to generation. But you can change those traditions because you made them. They didn't just, appear out of thin air and go, this is absolutely the way things must be. No, we can change them and then move on to better things, because that is the way of the world. Of course, when something benefits the patriarchy, it's going to be hard to unravel. But that is the reality, that we as women must not let ourselves be sort of pushed into this mad storm of marriage. Like everyone has got their own time when they will marry. Everyone has got their own time where they will have children. Everyone's got their own point in time for every aspect of their life. It's never too late for, sometimes we care too much about the aesthetics. Like, well, if I have my child at 40, what am I going to look like when my child's 20? Well, you're going to look like your child's mother. What do you want to look like? Social media and everything's telling us like, oh, you need to look a certain way. And even if you wanted to, you could. There's 70-year-old women who work out at the gym and look like queens on fire. Like, no one should try to tell you that you have to look a certain way. And all this aesthetics are just that, aesthetics. We need to be looking at the core of the matter. Why are we asking girls to get married? Is it because it is the prestige? Is it because it's more comfortable to have a young girl who's married? Or is it because we feel that marriage is the ideal part for them to be in their lives? I'm no expert. I've never been married. And maybe I'll marry someday, maybe I won't. Who knows? Life goes the way it does. God decides what he decides. Things happen. But what I do know is that teaching young women to aspire to marriage, teaching them that their highest ambition should be having a husband, tagging a Mrs. in front of their name, having a ring on their ring finger, is just ridiculous. We should be teaching young girls to be self-sufficient, to learn how to survive in the world, to learn how to take care of themselves, to learn how to live their lives the best they can. And if they find someone to share that with, great. And if they don't, fine. Life moves on. We should not be teaching women that they have to find a man to be better than what they already are. I think the most important thing in this world right now is to have each person be an individual who is sufficient, self-sufficient in themselves. And then if they feel the need to have a partner be a part of their lives, then they can go out and find someone that they feel, they love or they can partner with. Whatever that criteria is, it's up to them. But it should not be society saying that if you're not married at a certain age, there's something wrong with you or you're getting old, because really, who cares? Who cares? See, a friend of mine, she was telling me a story. I'm not going to go about who the story was about because it was a private story. But she was telling the story of a lady who was married to her husband for over 30 years. And he had a very big job, and she never really, thought about being self-sufficient. She was just like, my husband is this, my husband's that. Until the day that man found a younger woman who had a better job than this woman and kicked her out of the house empty-handed. As we say, men are empty-handed, we'll just say it like that. She left that marriage without anything. She thought he was going to come back. He didn't come back. Now he has a new wife who is younger than his first wife, who has a better job, better paying job than her. And so when you listen to these people say, oh my gosh, you have too many achievements, you're going to scare a man, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, that's some BS. You're going to find the man who's right for you when it's right for you. And if any man is coming and he's intimidated by you, that's not a man you should want anyway. But that's me. That's all me. I mean, that's me. I'm not saying that's what you should do, but that's what I would do. Like, I'm not trying. You know what? If I'm intimidating you, that's your problem. Like, you are intimidated by me. I am not the one who's intimidating you. I am not responsible for the way you respond to me. I'm only responsible for the way I respond to you. And that's that for me. We should not be making women feel like their highest achievement is marriage. Social media doesn't help. Social media doesn't help at all either. Like, you see all these sites where there's always one wedding or another, and I'm not gonna fault people for being excited about getting married, because getting married is a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's not just the ultimate accomplishment. That's all I'm saying. It is not the ultimate accomplishment, and if a woman's not married, she's not any less than a woman who is married. And I think that's what feminism is really about. For women to have the choice to be who and what they want to be. Now it's up to you. Whether you agree or you disagree, that's up to you. I didn't really make this video to argue with anyone, because I know I'm gonna get some people, talking to me and saying I don't agree with you, and that's okay. You can comment and tell me that you don't agree with me, but please just don't be mean. I don't like mean people. But yeah, those are my thoughts. So I refuse to be bothered by people who want indole and eru and jollof rice. Yeah? I refuse to be bothered. Thank you for being here today. This was more of a rant video than anything, so I'm grateful that you were here. If you liked this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you did not like this video, hit the dislike button, and be sure to tell me why you did not like this video. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. I mean, you watch all the way to the end right now. You might as well subscribe, right? Like, yeah. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell that lets you know when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for being here. Love. Je vous aime. Mwah.